everybody, it's good to be with you today. My name's Cameron Southam. I'm a Senior Category Manager with Synergy Worldwide, and I'm here today with Mike Saunders from the Hughes Center. Mike, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do at the Hughes Center.
Thanks, Cameron. Like Cameron said, my name is Mike Saunders. I'm the Director of Scientific Innovation at the Hughes Center. I do a lot of different science things here, basically. I do a lot of our flavor work. I do some clinical studies. I work with our product development team to help make sure that you guys have the most scientific, best products you can possibly have.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me today, Mike. We're talking about Essential Greens today. Essential Greens is an awesome product that we're going to discuss. In fact, if I had 3 words to describe Essential Greens, they would be nutrition's missing link. And we'll talk about more why a little bit later as we go through this. Well, Mike, why don't you start off and tell us a little bit about Essential Greens, what it is, and why we should take it.
So basically, Essential Greens is a green drink, but it's not your typical green drink. One of the things that makes Essential Greens different is it's a blend of greens that you're really not going to get from the grocery store. It's not lettuce, it's not spinach, kale. It has some of those components in it, but it's much, much more than that. You're getting a blend of not commonly consumed greens that are phytonutrient dense. That's really one of the key things is we're not looking for specific vegetables. We're looking for specific phytonutrients. If you look around at the grocery store, what you're gonna get is basically broccoli, lettuce, maybe some kale. You get the same types of things at every grocery store you go to, almost globally. I've been Thailand, I've been to Japan, I've been to Texas, and the grocery stores look very similar. There's not a whole lot of diversity in the produce that you're gonna get. And what Essential Greens provides is that vast array of different ingredients, things like wheatgrass, things like barley grass, things like oat sprout, that you're not gonna buy at the grocery store that contain specific phytonutrients that we know can enhance your health. So one of the cool things about Essential Greens, I like to call it a modern multivitamin because of this phytonutrient density.
Okay, so you say multivitamin, but this isn't really a source of vitamin and minerals, is it?
Well, it does have vitamins and minerals that are intrinsic to the plants that are in the product, but it's not a vitamin and mineral drink. What I mean when I say a modern multivitamin is that it is a diverse array of phytonutrients. Vitamins and minerals are basically phytonutrients, but we're not getting a variety of the other phytonutrients that we need, the less talked about phytonutrients, the ones that aren't government approved for health.
Okay, Mike, so I'm not a scientist. You keep mentioning phytonutrients. Can you break that down a little bit for me? What are they? Why are they important?
So like I said, phytonutrients are just plant-derived nutrients. Your natural vitamins and minerals are phytonutrients. Your things like your quercetin, your flavonoids, your saponins, all these molecules basically that live inside plants that plants use as a defense mechanism. There's plants that grow different parts of the world all over the place, and depending on the location, depending on the climate, they have different kinds of phytonutrients. And they use these phytonutrients to protect themselves from the environment. If there's extreme heat, they have a phytonutrient that protects them from extreme heat. UV light, that's a common one. Phytonutrients that protect from UV light. Antioxidants, things like that. These are phytonutrients plants use to protect themselves. And animals, we can't get phytonutrients, we can't make them ourselves. You need to consume plant material to get these phytonutrients. So things like lemongrass, for example, it contains quercetin, which is a kind of a phytonutrient that exists in actually a large variety of fruits and vegetables, but it's well known to promote health. People that are in athletics actually take quercetin to help improve sport performance even. Sage is another ingredient in Essential Greens. It contains a wide variety of phytonutrients, things like ursolic acid, salvionolic acids, sagurinic acids, these types of phytonutrients that the body requires. They're not life or death necessarily. You don't need them to survive. You need them to thrive. And that's really what these phytonutrients are about in essential greens. That's what essential greens is about, is a product that helps you thrive.
Great, that's really interesting. So let's talk about some of those key ingredients then.
So essential greens, to me, in my mind, has three parts. There is your greens blend, there is your spice blend, and then there's your spirulina. Your greens blend is your things like your wheatgrass, your barley grass, your lemongrass, oat sprout, artichoke leaf. You'll notice all these things that I mentioned are things that are not commonly consumed. There's other things in there. There's spinach and there's stuff like that you're going to commonly consume, and that's part of your greens blend. But things like wheatgrass, it's very dense in vitamins and minerals. It's often consumed as part of a health shake. People put wheatgrass or barley grass in there, and automatically their shake, whatever they have, it might be full of ice cream and juice and things like that, but they got wheatgrass in there, so now it's healthy. We're just giving you the wheatgrass without the ice cream, without the sugars and things like that. But the vitamins and minerals, the antioxidants, the flavonoids in wheatgrass, the lemongrass, it's a traditional medicine in a lot of countries. It has a lot of pharmacologically active compounds, terpenes, saponins, things like that. So your greens blend is really your phytonutrient powerhouse blend from greens that you don't normally consume. Then you have your spice blend. Your spice blend is, I'm going to tell a quick story. I used to work at a company and we had an immune health product, and the entire immune health product was based around spices, because spices have a lot of impact on bacterial growth and things like that. They're well known as medicines around the world, basically, traditional medicines. Sage is a spice that we eat all the time in our spaghetti sauce or wherever, but it also is something that is used for cognitive function and enhancing memory and things like that. Rosemary is a strong antioxidant. We actually put rosmarinic acid from rosemary into products to help make sure that they're stable because it's such a strong antioxidant. Peppermint's associated with energy. Parsley is a strong diuretic effect. It's used to reduce bloating and things like that. So spices, they're spices for our food, but they're also medicine for our body.
Okay, I see. You mentioned spirulina. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Spirulina, if there was one product that I was to think of, one ingredient that I was to think of, if you were to ask me what is a superfood, spirulina would be the example that I would give. Spirulina is a blue-green algae. It is one of the oldest organisms that has ever existed on the earth. One of the first things to evolve. And it's actually used in traditional medicine dating all the way back to the Aztecs. So it's really strong history of use, but also it's been around forever. And one of the cool things about spirulina, it's not a plant, it's an algae. Plants are the basis of life on land. They use photosynthesis, they create their own energy. Animals eat plants, that's how animals survive. In water, algae is the same way. Blue-green algae like spirulina use sunlight to create energy through photosynthesis. Similar process to plants. They are the foundational building block for life in water. If you look at spirulina, it's like a plant in the sense that it uses sunlight for energy, but it's also in some ways like an animal because it's very high in protein. Spirulina, gram for gram, has about the same amount of protein as eggs. So it's very high in protein. It's high in copper. It's very nutrient dense. It's considered a superfood because if you take 5 grams of spirulina, it has almost the same amount of nutrients as 100 grams of healthy fruits and vegetables. So spirulina is truly a superfood.
Wow, that's incredible. You mentioned spirulina is like a plant, but not a plant. Is this product vegan?
So spirulina is an algae. So yes, it is vegan. The entire product is vegan friendly and vegetarian.
Why this particular mix of green? We talked about the different mixes, the greens, the spices, the spirulina. Why this particular mix?
So when you're designing a product, you could just throw stuff in at random, or you could have a rational reason for choosing what you're choosing. One of the reasons why we chose the greens that are in this product, for example, there's a blend of greens that are not commonly consumed. This isn't something that you can get in the grocery store. A lot of people have healthy diets. Most people, unfortunately, don't have healthy diets, but some people are trying. And if you're trying, you're going to the grocery store, you're shopping in the produce section, but you're still not getting a diverse array of phytonutrients. You're unable to because it's not available to you. So Essential Greens is making that diversity more available. So having those not commonly consumed greens is important, but then we also wanted to look specifically at the phytonutrient density of the ingredients that are in this product, and not just the fact that they're very phytonutrient dense, but also the fact that the phytonutrient diversity complements each other. So an example of that would be, we have spinach in this product. I haven't mentioned spinach that much because we eat spinach. But that being said, spinach is, in my mind, it really is a superfood. It has a lot of healthy things in it. Spinach has about 400% the amount of vitamin K as spirulina. Spirulina is quite low in vitamin K, but if I have the two in there together, the spinach compensates for that deficiency in spirulina. So that's what we tried to do, is where we have a lot of quercetin and flavonoids and things like that, we also want to have a lot of these saponins, a lot of these ursolic acid-like compounds, things that I mentioned, that are also very important for not necessarily surviving, but for thriving.
That makes a lot of sense. So clearly this is designed for a purpose. Can you tell us what some of the benefits of the product are?
So Essential Greens is not a product that has a specific indication. A lot of times we develop a product, it might be a mood product or an energy product or something along those lines. Essential Greens is more a foundational health product. Worldwide, we have, in general, a poor diet. Poor diet leads to nutrient deficiency, which leads to symptoms. You might have lack of energy. You might have poor immune health, things like that, because you're just not getting the nutrients that you need in your diet. So Essential Greens, the whole purpose of it is to restore you back to the health you were meant to have if you had a perfect diet. You're getting all the nutrients that you need. You may feel more, you may have more energy. You're getting all the nutrients you need, then you may have that natural restored immune health that you should have. It also has a large variety of antioxidants that help with reduction of cell damage in your body. It has chlorophyll and other phytonutrients that can help detoxify the body. One thing I haven't talked about that's also really important is it has a diverse array of fibers and other phytonutrients that can help feed the gut microbiome and improve overall health and gut health.
Great. Okay, 2 questions for you. You mentioned that this is great for detox. Talk a little bit more about that.
So I've worked at companies, and actually Synergy is a company that sells chlorophyll as a single ingredient product. And there's a real reason why we sell chlorophyll as a single ingredient product. Chlorophyll is one of the best detox molecules in the world. It, based on its structure and its chemical properties, can bind to specific toxins, environmental toxins, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These are toxins that come from burning hydrocarbons like wood. You breathe in these toxins, you consume them when you eat foods, when you eat cooked foods. They get into your system and you can't get them out because they're fat soluble. Your body is very good at getting rid of toxins that are water soluble, or even toxins that have points where they can be metabolized to become more water soluble. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons are very stable. Our body doesn't know what to do with them, and they localize into fatty tissue and they basically stay there. This has all sorts of health effects. One of them, one of the least of which, as far as actual health is concerned, but maybe one of the most important as far as people's perceptions is concerned, is premature aging. They actually cause wrinkling and things like that. Chlorophyll can actually bind to those molecules and resolubilize them, pull them back into the bloodstream where they're excreted through the urine. So chlorophyll is an incredibly important detox molecule. Partially actually works well with chlorophyll because it helps pull water out of the system. It's a diuretic, so it can allow for the detoxification to happen more rapidly. You also have a general antibiotic, antiviral type of an effect from the spices, which could be considered a detox as well.
Great, that's really interesting. Okay, my second question, you mentioned the microbiome in the gut. What is that? Why is it important for us?
So gut health it's really kind of its own topic. It's a 30-minute to an hour-long topic on its own. It's one of the new frontiers of modern health science. Gut microbiome it's very, very interesting to me. If you look at gut microbiome, people think, okay, we've got a few bacteria in our gut and they help us do things. But you have about 10 times as many bacterial cells in your gut as you have human cells. The human genome has 20 to 25,000 genes that it encodes for. These genes allow us to express different proteins, do different things in our body. You have about 9 million bacterial genes that are encoded for in your body. That's 360 times the amount of genes that you have that are bacterial genes as opposed to human genes. So in some ways, we're actually more bacteria than we are human. And these bacteria, they have a symbiotic relationship with us. In an ideal world anyway, they have a symbiotic relationship with us. They help us to digest our food. They help us to absorb nutrients. They help us to get the most out of what we're eating, and they help keep us healthy. They break down molecules and excrete other molecules that are critical for health. If you've heard things like short-chain fatty acids, things like butyrates, lactates, these bacteria consume molecules, excrete other molecules, and that's part of what helps keep our bodies healthy, not just our gut healthy. There's a really strong direct effect on gut health, but there's also an effect on immune health, cognitive function, metabolic health, weight loss, even athletic performance. If we want to improve our microbiome health, then one of the best ways to do it is to eat prebiotics. And what I mean by prebiotics are food that bacteria can eat. So if you have a array of 10,000 bacteria in your gut and you're feeding the good ones and only the good ones are going to continue to grow and thrive. If you're feeding everything, like say I'm eating a bunch of sugar, I'm feeding everything, the most pathogenic bacteria, the worst ones are going to thrive. So I eat healthy, diverse fibers and phytonutrients that I know feed the good bacteria. Those good bacteria have a competitive advantage. They get to grow. They get to outcompete the bad bacteria. And that allows for a healthier microbiome. So whole food fiber, phytonutrients, diverse fruits and vegetables, things like that are one of the best ways to maintain overall microbiome health, which will impact many, many areas of human health in our lives.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of good information. So from what you've told me, the microbiome, the detox, the phytonutrients we're receiving in this product, sounds like everybody should be taking this as kind of a foundational health product. Is that the case?
Yes. To me, there's a few products that are truly foundational health products that everybody should be taking. Things like your omega-3 supplements, things like your essential greens. These are products that everybody should be taking because we just simply do not get enough of these, in the case of essential greens, the phytonutrients, the diverse array of fibers. It's not just fiber. We talk about fiber. Fiber is super important. 90% of women, 97% of men in the US do not get enough fiber. And if it's that bad in the US, it's probably pretty close to that in Europe. It's probably not as bad, but probably pretty close. We just don't get enough fiber in our diet. We can supplement with something like Benefiber, which is wheat dextrin. That doesn't count as a microbiome boosting fiber. Even things like inulin and FOS, which are very helpful as far as prebiotic fiber goes, if you're getting a product that has just inulin in it or just FOS in it, then you're only feeding one small group of bacteria. So diversity is really the key. And when you have a product like Essential Greens, it may not have a huge amount of fiber in it, but it has a huge amount of diversity in the fiber, which is actually way more beneficial than 5 grams of inulin or 5 grams of FOS, which if I take that, I'm probably just going to get bloated and gassy and not feel good. So this is a product that should be taken by everyone. It's foundational health, and it's really critical, not necessarily to surviving, but to thriving.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Let's get into some of the details. How often should we be taking this product?
This is one of those products that should be taken at least every day. A lot of our products, you don't want to take too often because they're medicines. In a way, they're medicines, and they have an upper limit on the dosages. This is foundational nutrition. There really is no upper limit on this. Take it every day. Take it as much as you want. It's going to do nothing but improve your health.
Great. And is there a certain time of the day we should be taking it?
Not really. Because it's one of those foundational health products, just take it whenever it's convenient. The most important message here is to take it every day.
So compared to other products, how do our Essential Greens stack up to these other green products we're seeing on the market? Where are we different?
So I've looked at a few different products that are on the market, and one thing that we have that they do not have for certain is ingredient diversity. If you look at Essential Greens, the number one ingredient is the wheatgrass. If you look at most products like this, the number one ingredient might be spinach or it might be spirulina. And in the case of these products, the serving size might be 3 or 4 grams. Well, the vast majority of that is the first ingredient. It's really getting that diversity that's important, because we want to have the different greens, the different spices, the different phytonutrients that come from all these ingredients, the different fibers that come from all these ingredients that work together to make sure that we're covering all the areas of health that we need to cover. Another really key thing about this product that makes it different is the spice blend. This is something that I haven't seen in a lot of other products out there. Mostly you'll see wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is really well known. You might see barley grass. You might see spirulina. You might see something like an alfalfa, something like that. You'll see these types of products, types of ingredients in these products, but you'll very rarely see a spice blend like what we have, which covers a really wide variety of spices that have bioactive molecules that really do improve and impact human health in a good way.
Great. So at the beginning of this video, I talked about my 3 words to describe this: nutrition's missing link. I think we can see why. It's not a multivitamin that we talk about taking every day. It's not an essential oil or essential fatty acid like fish oil that we take every day. But it is something we should be taking every day, and that's why I call it nutrition's missing link. Now, you're a sciencey guy, so you're going to be a little bit different than me. What are your 3 words to describe this?
So my 3 words don't make a sentence because I'm not a marketing guy, I'm a science guy. The first thing that I think about when I think of Essential Greens is diverse. And that's really, really important because you can't have one single ingredient, one green, and cover all the areas that you need to cover. You need that diversity. The second piece is phytonutrient. The second word is phytonutrient. And the reason why I say phytonutrient is because I'm a chemist in training, and phytonutrients are those molecules, those flavonoids, those saponins, those molecules, the caffeic acid, things like that your body needs that people don't really think about. And that's really what I wanted to really get across in this discussion is we don't think about phytonutrients on a whole. We think about vitamins. Am I getting enough vitamin C? Well, yeah, I have vitamin C fortified cereal. I have vitamin C fortified orange juice. They put extra vitamin C in the orange juice to make it healthy on top of the sugar. So it's not so much the vitamins. It's not so much the minerals. Yes, I need those, but the phytonutrients, the phytonutrient diversity, I need to be having those as well for optimal health, not just to survive. And then my 3rd word is restore, because Essential Greens, this to me is the function of the product. I mentioned a few things that are the function of the product, but in my mind, the most critical function of this product is to restore my body to optimal health.
Great. Thanks. Mike, I really appreciate talking with you today about essential greens. This has been very educational. Appreciate all the information you give us and all the work you do on this. Thanks, everybody. We're glad to be with you again. I hope you enjoy your time and try out Essential Greens. It's a great product.